2021 meeting of the Westfield, Washington Township Advisory Plan Commission to order. Will staff please confirm the presence of a quorum?
Ms. Berkman? Here. Mr. Deck?
Here.
Mr. Horke?
Here.
Mr. Johns?
Here.
Dr. Kelleher?
Here.
Mr. Maui?
Here.
Mr. McCarty?
Here.
Mr. Schmitz?
Here.
Ms. Boljaric?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on, we have one set of minutes from the November 1st meeting to approve tonight. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Victor McCarty. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Cindy Spolcherick. Thank you. Will staff please call the roll on the minutes?
Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Boljaric?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have no public hearings tonight, but will you please review the rules and procedures for the agenda items that we do have in front of us tonight?
Due to the COVID-19 emergency as declared by the Governor of Indiana, the format and conduct of the meeting has been modified to comply with executive orders regarding the conduct of public meetings, public hearings, and public gatherings. Relevant portions of the Indiana Open Door Law have been amended or suspended during the pendency of the emergency. As the President said, there are no public hearing items tonight, so for all items, the meeting will have the following structure. The department will summarize the petition and highlight any changes or modifications since the item was last before the Plan Commission. The department will also describe what action, if any, is necessary to be taken. The petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present any changes, and the Plan Commission will act upon the petition. For our rules of conduct this evening, we ask that you please not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time, and again, if you must answer them, please quietly exit the room. Also, please make sure you mute your microphone when you are not speaking, and if you do come up to the podium, make sure the microphone is on as indicated by the green light. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 4 items of business in front of us. Item number 1 tonight is Sycamore Glen, 2111 ODP 24 and 2111-SPP 24. This also comes with a need for a waiver that we will need to act on prior to taking any action on the petition itself. Staff presentation, please.
Thank you, President. Members of the Commission. For the record, Caleb Ernest with the Community Development Department. This proposal is for the overall development plan and primary plat review of 31 lots on approximately 28 acres in the Sycamore Glen PUD district. This project is located south and adjacent to 159th Street and west of Town Road, which is north of the Kimblewick by Del Webb subdivision and south of the Bent Creek subdivision. This item had its public hearing at the November 1st Plan Commission meeting. Since that meeting, revisions have been submitted and plans are fully compliant. Also, since that meeting, staff has not received any public comments. John Dobashewitz of Nelson and Frankenberger, representing the project, is here tonight. He does not plan on making a presentation. He is available for questions, as am I, should you have any for staff. Thank you.
Thank you. We will go through the commission, give everybody an opportunity if there are any questions or comments to bring to our attention. We'll go alphabetically tonight, starting with Kristen Berkman.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Matt Deck.
None, thank you.
Very good. Mike Johns.
I'd just like to give Martin, first of all, again, thank you for this subdivision. You've gone above and beyond, I think, and really made it into something special. My comment today is, I did a similar subdivision myself, developed, you probably know that, and had to come before the council and get a waiver because my court was over 600 feet too, okay? What I would share with you, just from my own experience, keep in mind, I've had problems over the years with moving storage trucks, making the circle around that curb, okay? You get a 53-footer in there, it's tough. So watch it and get ready to do some curb repairs, okay? Other than that, I think it's a great deal. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kelleher.
I echo Mr. Johns'
I echo Mr. John's comments. I know that this started off very differently, and I think it's great. I just think it's wonderful, so thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, Andre Maui.
No questions or comments. Thanks.
Very good. Victor McCarty.
Nothing additional for me, thank you.
Thank you. Dave Schmitz.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Spoljarek.
It wasn't readily apparent to me, based on this plan I mentioned before about the connectivity issue to the south, and if that was going to at all be able to be accomplished. Can you just give me an update?
John Dabashay was with Nelson and Frankenberger. Martin reached out to Pulte, and they have not provided a response to date. The obligation is in the ordinance in the event that Pulte would provide the connection to be a path to their north property line. That wasn't part of the development plan or overall plat for that development. So right now, if we receive a response from Pulte prior to construction plan approval, we would, and the response was favorable that they would provide it, we would be obligated to construct it.
And that would be between 14 and 15 or 15 and 16? Lot
If
wise.
staff can advance a couple pages and zoom in, you know, Gordon, I'll have to have it. 14 and 15. That's the PAE you see there, 5 foot on either side of each lot.
I think that's going to be a real shame if we miss that possibility for a connection. That's all I wanted to add there. I know that this is not that. That's not what you're here for today, but this would be important, I think, for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. I have nothing further to question or comment on as well. Are there any questions regarding the waiver that is required for this? And if there aren't, is there somebody that would care to make a motion regarding the waiver, regarding the length of the cul-de-sac?
I have one question. Do we do the construction standard one too, or would that be for the Board of Works? Because there was two different ones.
Yeah, the city engineer approves it separately, so since it appears in both sets of standards, it has to be approved by both bodies. They just requested it in one letter. So you
Oh, I
just need to
gotcha.
do it from the UDO.
Okay, thank you.
I will make a motion to approve the waiver request for Sycamore Glen. And that request is to allow a longer cul-de-sac length than 600 feet and to allow a, what do they call it in the center? An island. I believe there were two things in the waiver. One was also to allow an island in the center.
I believe that is a Public Works waiver. I don't think we have a standard regarding that,
Okay.
so.
So it's just a single item.
Just a single
Is
item.
there a second for that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. We have a motion from Dr. Kelleher, seconded by Matt Deck. Would staff please call the roll?
Ms. Bergman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Spillier?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, that being dispensed with, do we have a motion to approve the ODP?
I'll make a motion to approve the overall development plan and primary plat for 2111-ODP-24 and 2111-SPP-24 Sycamore Glen, with the condition that all necessary approvals shall be obtained from the Westfield Public Works Department, Westfield Fire Marshal, and the Hamilton County Surveyor's Office prior to approval of a secondary plat.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second.
We have a motion from Victor McCarty, seconded by Dr. Kelleher. Will staff please call the roll on this vote?
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Spillier?
Yes.
Ms. Bergman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on, our next order of business is Plan Commission Order 2102. Staff report, please.
There's no staff report for this. You just get to
Or-
hear, you get to hear from me on the next 3 items.
So accustomed to
and be-
typically being staffed, I'd be happy to
Sure.
hear from council.
And I'm going to address all 3 items, but of course you need to vote on them individually. So
Yes.
Plan Commission Order 2102, Plan Commission Order 2103, and Plan Commission Order 2104. The RDC just this evening adopted resolutions to amend 3 TIF districts that are in your jurisdiction. One of those is the Lanterns Common Economic Development Area. They are terminating the residential expansion from that TIF. The second is the East Side Economic Development Area. They are dissolving Aurora 1 allocation area and creating Aurora 3 allocation area. And then the final one is the Eagleton Economic Development Area, and they are removing the residential parcels from those particular TIFs. So the reasoning for that is when you have TIF districts, the entire premise of those is you have a base level, and then any development that's done in those areas, you can capture that increment and then use that incremental amount in order to do infrastructure within that area or in the surrounding areas. Residences are not allowed to be captured, but they count against your base. So if you have those in there, your increment is going to go down because your base level is still going up. So by either terminating or removing the residential components of these TIFs, you're capturing more increment in these individual areas. Just to give kind of a little background for each of you, the Lantern Commons Economic Development Area was formed in 2008. The property in the Lanterns Common EDA was classified as commercial vacant instead of residential vacant, will be classified as commercial vacant instead of residential vacant, beginning January 1 of next year. It has never generated any TIF revenue since its establishment, and all parcels up to now have been classified as residential. The Aurora 1 and 2 allocation areas are part of the East Side EDA. Aurora 1 produced minimal TIF revenue before dropping to $0 in pay 2021 and projected in 22. So the purpose of that specific amendment this evening is to dissolve Aurora 1 and to create Aurora 3. It will automatically remove future residential parcels from that EDA. The final one is the Eagleton Economic Development Area. Residential parcels in the grist mill trails will be removed from that TIF area. That includes 114 residential parcels. More residential parcels will be automatically removed from the area as they are developed. This removal will prevent lost TIF revenues in the future. So again, that's just for your background and own education on the purpose of why the RDC is doing this. Your role and responsibility as the Plan Commission is to ensure that what they are doing is cohesive with the comprehensive plan. It's fairly safe to say that it matches your comprehensive plan, since it's against the law to have residences in a TIF area. So it's a pretty straightforward process this evening, but I wanted you to have just some background information on why the RDC is making this recommendation and has adopted these resolutions.
Okay, very good, thank you. We'll go ahead and do a round robin of opportunities to ask questions of council or staff or each other on any of these, and they're all identical. We'll just have to vote separately. So, Matt Deck, do you have any further questions or clarifications you'd like to have on this?
I do not. I'm going to go with the law on this one.
Very good thinking.
Yep.
Anything from Mike Johns?
I don't really have any questions. I'd make the comment, though, that if you didn't have a chance to go to the RDC meeting that we just had, Jim Treat did a really good presentation of this, and Rachel kind of summarized it, but he went through and had all the numbers from the last 5 years of AV versus actual and the TIF losses and whatnot, and it was pretty educational, and I'd really recommend everybody take a quick look at that if you get a chance, but I agree with what's been said here.
Okay, thank you. Jim Treat is certainly good with numbers. Dr. Keller,
No comments, thank you.
Andre Maui,
Thanks for the summary. I appreciate that, because I was trying to figure this one out. I don't know that I could recite that or write a report on it, but it made sense when you described it, so no questions.
Thank you. Victor McCarty.
Nothing additional for me either. Thank you.
Very good. Dave Schmitz.
Nothing for me, thanks.
Thank you. Cindy Spoljarek.
Nothing, thank you.
Very good. Kristen Berkman.
None, thank you.
I too have nothing further to add. Thank you. So do we have a motion on Plan Commission Order 2102?
I'll make a motion to approve Plan Commission Order 2102.
Thank you. Motion from Andre Maury. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dave Schmitz. Thank you. Will staff please call the roll?
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Spillier?
Yes.
Ms. Bergman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Do we now have a motion for the Order 2103?
Motion to approve Order 21-03.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I can second.
Motion from Victor McCarty, second from Kristen Berkman. Will staff please call the roll for this item?
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Spillier?
Yes.
Ms. Bergman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Rounding out our agenda, is there a motion to approve Plan Commission Order 2104?
I will move to approve Plan Commission Order number 21-04.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded. We have a motion from Dr. Kelleher and a second by Mike Deck. Will staff please call the roll for this petition?
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Spillier?
Yes.
Ms. Bergman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. Thank you. There are no public hearing items. All other agenda items are continued to a future meeting. Note there is one withdrawn item, 2110-PUD-24, the Hiddle at 31 PUD Amendment 1, not the development proposal itself, but the amendment that we acted on recently has actually been withdrawn. But that will come back for whatever final action it needs at a later date. So we're on to reports and comments. Do we have any comments from Plan Commission members? I know there's at least one, unless she's changed her mind.
I just wanted to give everybody on the commission an update on some discussions that we've had regarding the streetscape and some other things as it pertains to the downtown area. And so I just wanted to let everyone know that after some discussions with the mayor and Mike, we've decided to kind of take the approach, which is the right approach, of doing the implementation plan from the 2013 comprehensive plan, because it was outlined in that particular plan to do the streetscape. And so we're moving forward, and at the next meeting, I will give more of an update, but there's kind of a process where we're doing two teams, executive team, which is the mayor and Mike Johns and Bob Horke and Kevin Todd and Justin Moffett from Old Town. And so we've had that kickoff meeting, and then we're having another kickoff meeting with kind of a working team this week. And so after that meeting, at our next meeting, I'll give more of an update to all of you, but definitely want this body to be as involved as you want to be. And there'll be some different ways to do that as we kind of reach out for ideas for this group too, for those that would like to give input. So I think that's all I have tonight, but does anyone have any questions on that? If people were hearing through the grapevine that we were kind of moving forward, I just wanted to let everybody know.
Thank you. Are there any other follow-up questions to that, or do any other commission members have comments for each other?
I'd just like to say thank you for all the work you've put into this, and I know you've spent a lot of hours looking into this, and sounds like you've got a great synergy created with a lot of the different entities within the city, so, nice job.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Is there
Any
a
other
report
questions?
or further comment?
No, I was just
Oh.
asking if anybody had any other
Oh, okay.
questions.
I was-
Okay, great. Thank you.
City Council liaison,
I can give a quick update.
please.
Let's see, we introduced the additional appropriation for the fire station lease. There was an introduction for the spring water PUD, which is on Union Street. That'll be heard our first December meeting, and we had a resolution concerning fiscal policies and a quarterly budget. So that's about it. Thanks.
Thank you. There was a BZA meeting in between our last meeting and now. Do we have a report on that?
Yeah, excuse me, yes. BZA met last Tuesday, approved 7 petitions. First, there was on 206th Street, just west of the Monon, there was a petitioner who had a very small SF5 lot and needed just a collection of variances, use, and standards in order to put a tiny house on this SF5 lot just west of Monon. Those variances were granted, although she's got some challenges to get her other approvals to be able to actually construct anything from Health Department and so forth, water and sewer. The Bridalwood subdivision replaced their signage, needed a variance for what they were putting in, same location, same size, that was granted. Tiller Court, Windows LLC, 17455 Tiller Court, which is just west of the post office. They wanted a modification to a previously granted variance about the dumpster enclosure. It needed to be slightly larger because of the nature of their business. They needed more dumpster potential, so there's a small enlargement of that. Mauricio Gonzalez, who operates a construction trade office across from Kroger on the south side of 161st Street, 133 West 161st Street. He had, I think, a 3 or 5 year variance, and he came in for an extension of that same variance, and that was granted. North Point Gun Sales Range, a variance of use to permit an indoor gun range on internal location within North Point was granted. In a commercial tract within the North Point Industrial Park or Business Park. And finally, well, no, 2 more. There was a Norse Carpentry Service petition. That was for essentially an in-laws quarters on a house. They wanted to have, he's using it, the petitioner's using it for a family member, but basically an apartment attached to his residence, and the nature of what he was doing required it to be treated as an efficiency unit and needed a variance for that, and that was granted. And finally, there was a house in Chatham Hills where the foundation contractor had made a mistake and encroached 3.8 feet the corner of the building into the front yard setback, and they needed a variance to continue construction, and that was granted, and that was it.
You don't meet very often, but you make up for it when you do. Is there anything from community development that needs to be attended to while we're open for business?
Nope.
We do have training coming up
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. At the conclusion of business tonight, after adjournment, we will be doing a plan commission training. Sorry. We will be doing kind of a 5-minute recess just to kind of reset the room a little bit. There won't be a recording of the training, so for anyone listening, this is in person, so you're welcome to make your way over to City Hall. But, yep, thank you.
All right, thank you. That completes our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion from Cindy Spoljarek.
We're not adjourning.
Oh, we're gonna-
No, we're keeping the meeting open.
Okay.
Not moved.
Retract.
Unmove that, I guess. Never mind. All right, then we are pausing for 5 minutes to give everybody a chance to do whatever they might need to do, including staff, and then we'll reconvene at 7:35-ish to go through the training that staff has lined up. Temporarily paused here.